For our scripture reading today, Kristin chose Matthew 28, verse 19. Matthew 28, 19. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Kristin was on a mission trip.
I guess it was probably October. We were sitting in chapel, and one of our teachers went up to present what our mission project was going to be this year. And they had several options that we could go to. We could go to El Salvador or the Philippines. And the El Salvador did not get passed to the board. And so we decided that we were going to the Philippines. And after several changes in exactly where we were going there, we decided that we were going to be headed to Busuanga, which is an island in the Philippines. It's north of Palawan, where Jeff and Michelle and Alex and Travis and everybody went. It was pretty cool how we got to go there. One of the stories is we needed to raise about $10,000 more for our church to build, to pay for the bricks and the workers, and we just couldn't get it. But some of our students, some of my friends, they decided that we're going to pray that God gives us $5,000 to help with this. And they were praying for this about 2 weeks. And then Mr. Dunder told them that he was going to be calling some potential donors to see what he could do for the trip. And they told him to tell him what to call them right before it happened so they could be praying during this. And they told him that they were praying for this $5,000. But he's like, well, it would be really great if you could get $5,000 in just one bit. But that doesn't happen very much. And they were praying as he called, and then the donor said that he had this specific feeling that he was supposed to give $5,000. And he had been feeling this for several weeks, and nothing less would do. And that was a really big answer to prayer, and that it helped us realize that this was going to work, and that God was with us as we planned this. So we got in the airport at about 6 in the morning, I guess. We got ready for our 11 flight. We had to leave the school at about 3:30 though, so we had pretty much no sleep. It was really rough. And here's part of the line of our luggage, and most of this is not our stuff actually. It's mostly clothes and felts and construction supplies for the church, and we left all of that there. Here is our beautiful plane. It has only been in commission for a couple weeks before we got on it, so it's kind of cool. It's like a new plane. And this was my first time flying. I almost had to hold one of the teacher's hands as we went because none of my friends were with me, and I was all by myself next to this random Asian lady, and it was really scary. I was almost crying, but I made it through, and I guess flying isn't that bad. But so I couldn't sleep on the plane, and when we got there, I was running on about 3 hours of sleep in the last 48 hours. And then we had this massive culture shock. It was like, wow. We got there at about 1 in the morning, and there were still lots of people down there. And we got all of our luggage, and we were standing waiting for our bus. And there was just these people watching us. And they were just like, they'd walk really close to us and kind of just stand with our luggage, and they'd walk away, and they'd come back if we weren't watching. And that was kind of scary. I mean, they weren't going to do anything, but... So then we had to go outside and wait in like 90-degree weather, and it was like the most humid feeling ever. It was was crazy. And finally our bus came after about 45 minutes of waiting. And then we got to the compound that we were staying at, which is the Northern Philippines conference office type thing. And they have armed guards walking around and these tall fences that people can't climb over and stuff. Manila's a pretty crazy place. All the stores have armed guards sitting there with their machine guns and whatever they have. It's a pretty, it has a really high poverty rate, and a lot of people don't have anything to feed their family with, so they resort to what they can do to get that. Here is another part of the culture shock. This is a sign in Marsilia where we were, and it roughly translates to there's a ladies' brunch type thing that the village is going to be holding, and at the end it is like, and women need to bring their own machetes. It's like, oh, what are you guys going to be doing? Things are different there. Once we got to Manila, we had to wait a day before the ferry would come. So we got to go see this. This is Mount Taal. It's a volcano inside of a lake, inside of an island, inside of a lake, inside of an island, inside of the ocean. And I thought that was super cool. We didn't get to go there, but we got to see it. I thought that was really neat. We stopped at a little fruit vendor at the side of the street. And these are jackfruit, which is like the biggest fruit in the world, and they're literally this big. They don't taste that good, but kind of cool to see them on the trees. This is a worker we saw as we were going by. He's carrying about 120 kilos of cement on his head, and he walks these up and down the hill all day, and that's how he supports his family. Here's what most of the housing looks like there, and you can see somebody playing basketball. They really, 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 really love basketball. It's like the soccer for Hispanic countries. Every village that we saw had a little basketball court, and they were playing with they weren't even basketballs, they were just playing with anything they could find. We got to visit IS, which is the Philippines Masters school, and they produce some of the top business and theology, and they have lots of people from all over the world there because the education is much cheaper there. Here's some of the dorms. I think that's really cool. And then after that, we got to go visit the Southeastern Asian Conference or Union headquarters, where all the big stuff happens, and it was really neat to go there. And we took a group picture in the garden, and there's us. So the next morning, we woke up and we got ready to go on our ferry, to-go ferry. This is my first time out of the ocean, and I was pretty sad because it was full of really gross trash and stuff. But as we went, I decided that I don't like the ocean anyways, because I get scared. It was a really rough journey. And we had to stay on these little bunks, and there's just rows and rows and rows of these full of people. And I fell asleep for a while, and I woke up, and I looked over, and there was one of my classmates, his face was right there, and I never wanted to do that again. So once we got there, it was about 4 or 5 in the morning, and we had to wait for another hour for our GPs to come. But then it turned out that there wasn't enough space for all of us and our luggage on one, so we had to wait longer for another one. So the group went out and one. I got stuck behind everybody else. And these GPs are old. They're from World War II. They're the vehicles there, and they're repurposed, so they're a bit rough. They don't really have seats in them. The ones we had a board, and then every 20 miles we had to stop and put water in the engine because it would smoke up. But that's how everybody travels. Here's a picture of the mountains in the morning as we were going. That was a great way to start Sabbath though, with the sun coming over the mountains, and it was amazing. And then we got there, And this is the house we stayed in. The head elder, he stayed in a tent that week and let us stay in his house so that we had somewhere nice to stay. And then they added on so that now when someone comes to visit or a church member needs something, that they can stay in one of the rooms. Here's church, there's the pastor, and then another, well, he's a doctor, I guess, but we brought him in to speak for the evangelistic series. And the church that they were using while we were there was just a community's meeting hall, I think. It was not nearly enough room for everybody. But they all stood up when they saw us coming and gave us their seats, and I was really humbling. About 5 minutes before they started, my history teacher walked up to me and said, "Kristin, you're doing Sabbath school." Thing is, I don't know any Tagalog, and that's what we needed to speak. So I had to speak through a translator. That was really difficult because you had to be really slow, and I hope they understood at least half of what I was saying. And here's some of the kids of one of the Bible workers during Sabbath school. And so the really cool thing is, in the Philippines, they don't have church like we do. Church is not just you come here, see everybody for an hour and leave. Their church is pretty much all day. We got there at about 8:30, we walked to the church. Then we were done around 11, which is close to the heat of the day. Then we'd go and eat and rest. And then at 2, we'd go have an AY, which is Adventist Youth Meeting. And that is like the most fun thing ever. We sang and we gave testimonies, and we just met each other. It was a really nice thing. I wish we could do something like that here. And here's the pastor giving a little talk. And this goes on until about 4 or 5, and then we go and we have supper. And then after that, we get together for social night, which is like the youth thing. And we have more worship talk until sundown, and then we do some fun stuff. Here is the school that everybody goes to. It only goes, it's only elementary though, and middle, I guess middle school too. But if someone wants to get a better education and go to high school, they have to walk several miles early on Monday morning and stay there till Friday. So then they're not able to help their families, and it's expensive for them to do that. So many of them only have up to 8th grade education. Here's the church the first day that we were there, before we got any work done on it. We hired them to dig out this is literally built on the side of the hill, so you had to hire someone to dig through the clay with a machine. I have no clue how they got it there, but we did. And they started working on the brick walls. Okay, so I guess there isn't any sound, but this is the church as we're building that. I guess that's not going to be there. And here's some of the kids. We had like this little, they're all watching us, and they're all singing, and they're laughing at us every time we messed up, because we didn't know how to do anything. But it was nice to have some support there. Here's a picture of them laying the brick. They carried these bricks all the way up the hill. We had a chain, like all the girls handed up bricks, and they're all trying their best, and then they get to one of the Filipinos, and they just like throw it at each other. Mr. Berger is from Wilson. He came with us to help us with the construction. And honestly, I don't know what we would have done without him, because none of us know how to do anything with that. So it was a real blessing to have him come. And we were laying the bricks still. So one of the things that we had to do a lot was to compress the dirt with this giant like wood block with cement all over it. This thing was heavy. And we'd have people going at that for about 10 minutes before they'd have to take a break. And we just had to keep cycling through people, and we did this days compacting dirt so that there would be a firm foundation under the church. And even some of us who aren't as strong, well, we showed them there that we could do this. My friend Alyssa, she walked up, she was one of the first people to get a bag of dirt, and the Filipino guy just gave her a couple little scoops, and she's like, put more. Puts a couple more, nope, more. So finally she had a full bag, and you can't carry that. She put it on her shoulder and carried it out to the hill. So we showed them that girls can do something. And here's a picture of the church a couple weeks ago. They're getting the roof, no, this is right before we left, yes. And they were ready to put the roof on, and here's the picture of the church. I think this is 2 weeks ago. They just need to put on a couple more things, and they're going to start meeting in it. I think they might have met in it yesterday, actually, well, today, but there it's yesterday. I think they might have already met in it. And they should be finished by the end of the month. This is the biggest church in the islands there, and it is definitely typhoon-proof. It had a church before, but when the typhoon came through, everything was wrecked. So everything there is pretty much rebuilt in the last couple of years because of the winds and stuff. Here's at our medical clinic. It's Mrs. Dunder, and we prescribed antibiotics for little things. We didn't have an actual doctor with us that could do much more, but we tried to help as much as we could. We gave vitamins to the kids and the mothers so that they can be a bit healthier. People there are very malnourished, and they're not only small because that's just their body type, but they're small because they don't have anything besides rice and a few things that they could find to feed them. So every little bit helped. I helped out with the dental clinic, which was pretty crazy. So I just washed the utensils after they used them, but this is a very unsanitary practice. It was not okay, but there, that's really good health care. And these kids had never seen a dentist, and most of the adults hadn't either. So you have kids with all their teeth falling out, and there's only a couple in there. And you have adults with no teeth. These kids, this is the first time getting a shot and stuff, but they weren't quite like kids here are when they get a shot. So a couple of them may have cried, but then they were okay, because they knew that somebody was trying to help them. We gave some of the kids stuffed animals to hold their hands. I learned that I'm not a big fan of blood when I did this, and I had to go take a break. But it was still really cool to see that and help out with the people. We brought in a dentist and his assistant from the other side of the island in Cologne, and then they did this pretty much for free. We paid them a little bit, but not nearly enough for what they did. Worked for hours and pulled hundreds of teeth. 3 days, I think. And here's some of the kids that would hang around. The little boy in the middle with the purple and yellow shirt. He's my little buddy. His name is Lomiak, and he was always chasing me around and trying to tickle me, so I would chase him back, and he's a great kid. And then the kid on the far right, that's James Monsalva, and he was a crazy little kid. He was always helping us. And here is at VBS. This is the first night, so we didn't have very many kids, but it was really cool. So I was in charge of the VBS, and I got there, and then I realized when I was unpacking everything that most of my supplies were not prioritized in the packing. So we had a bit of paper and some scissors and some markers to do everything with. So I had to completely change all of my plans. And then we got there, and we had the evangelistic series while we were doing this. And then one of the Bible workers came up to me and he said, "It's time for you to take the kids up behind the church so you can keep them quiet." Really? So now we had the kids instead of 2 hours, with barely enough to do, we had them for 4 hours. But this time we didn't have a translator with us because they were all helping with the evangelistic series. So we resorted to some pretty creative ways of keeping their attention. We sang lots and lots and lots of songs. We sang till our voices couldn't sing anymore. And then we tried to do Bible skits and stuff. It's pretty hard though. A lot of the kids know some English, but not enough to really be conversational. This is one of the little girls, and you're helping her color. Those little kids, like this little one, her family lived in a village 7 miles away, and she has about 4 other siblings plus her mom and dad, and they all fit on one of those little motorcycles just so they could come onto the evangelistic series. It's pretty crazy how many people you could fit. There's like a kid on the handlebars, and then there's a kid behind that kid, and then there's parents, and then there's kids everywhere. But they came all that way just to come to that. Here's some of the girls, and this is before VBS. Every night before VBS, we have to shoo everybody off the basketball court because all the older village people, they all played basketball. Well, not older, but I guess more of the teenagers, they all played basketball. And they didn't want to give it up, so we kind of had to wait for somebody to come help us move them off so we could have our VBS. So then some of them just started attending, so that was kind of cool. This is one of the kids. This is Romano. He had the craziest hair. He was always trying to put it up. So the kids there have lights, and we were really thankful that we didn't get any too. But they take baths in a little spring at the bottom of the hill once a week if their parents care enough to do that. A lot of the kids raise themselves because their families are doing other things, and also drinking is a big problem there. So this is walking to VBS, and every night, if we took too long, they'd all come down to our house and then walk us one by one. There'd be groups of kids swarming us, trying to push us to VBS so that we could get started. Here's some of the kids. So this is a skit that we did during VBS, and we're trying to, I think this is Daniel. And that was pretty crazy. We got our acting skills a little fine-tuned. And here's Mr. Edge, one of our teachers. He was filming everybody, and the kids they all wanted to get their picture taken all the time. And we were helping them make crowns, and so we didn't know how to explain to them that they needed to be in a line to get their paper. So we kind of just had kids climbing on us, trying to get the paper. These kids can climb. And one game we played was red light, green light. But I guess we didn't realize the rules completely, so we were playing it different. And they didn't quite understand the red light. So they were on one side of the court, and then out was at the other with a little kid who wanted to be the person to call it. And they said red light, but they didn't stop. And there's about 60 kids running at me, full force. I got pushed against the netting behind the basketball court, and then they pushed me down, and they're crawling on me. These kids are wild. And here's during the evangelistic series, we all had to go up into the church and try to keep them busy. And so Mr. Berger was trying to tell them a story, and then the head elder came up to see how we were doing, and we got him to help. So they're all acting out the firefighter story. And here's one of the bad workers with my friend and some kids. And there's me. About seconds after a swarm of kids got off of me, I was trying to walk around. We were all so tired. We were working all day in the sun, and then we had about half an hour to eat and get ready and get changed before going for 4 hours with the kids. It was rough, but it was very rewarding. They love to color, so we did lots and lots and lots of coloring. And the really cool thing is, at the end, I didn't know all the kids because I was always busy, but several of the kids decided that they were going to be baptized because they were older, and they talked to the elder, so that was really cool. We had a graduation night at the end. We all made crowns that said I'm a child of God, and then the kids at Peterson Elementary had things around their necks like little medals. And the next day, I'm going to talk more about this later, but I went serenading, which is something that they do there. And this little girl still had on her crown and her thing. She slept with it on. She loved it so much. She was so happy to be able to go. And she still had her crown and her BBS stuff on. And then she also got baptized too. So I chose the opening song, How Great Thou Art. About halfway through the week, they told us that if we woke up at about 4, we could go with them up and hike up the mountain with the head elder and one of the guides and the pastor. And we could watch the sun come up at the top of the mountain. And then on our way down, we would pick up some lumber and bring it back for the church. So we hiked up there, we watched the sun come up, and it was probably the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in the world. We were high up above everything and trees all around, and the sun came up. And then we were walking down, and I was kind of by myself walking down. And then I just stopped and I was looking at everything. And in the village, they played radio. One of the church members had a radio, and they turned it all the way up. And they were listening to the Christian station. And How Great Thou Art came on. And I could hear it at the top of the mountain. That's how loud it was. But I just stopped, and everything hit me at once, what I was doing, and it was really, someone told me that, an idea they have of heaven is when they get there, they'll be able to see all these little marks that brought them closer to God, all these little footprints in the sand. And I think that was one of the moments that I felt God the most ever. It was really incredible. I realized that this was all His, and that He brought us here, and we were helping people to learn that too, and it was amazing. So Sabbath morning, I heard that some of the church members were going to go serenading at about 4:30. So I was like, okay, that sounds really cool. I had no clue what it was, but so during the evangelistic series, they would go around early in the morning, and then they'd wake up people who were coming to the series, and then they'd have worship with their family and pray with them. And I decided I wanted to go with them, and that was really, 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 really rewarding. It was pretty crazy. We had to wake up super early. They told us that they'd be there at 3:30, but they didn't get there till 4:30. That's just how island time works. And I'm sorry for my voice starting to go out, but so we went around and we prayed, and that was another time that I really felt the Holy Spirit at one house, because one family was still deciding if they were going to get baptized after me, because if they did, then they would lose a lot of stuff. Their family wouldn't accept them anymore. We were praying, and I just felt something. It turns out that they did decide to get baptized, and now they're no longer part of their family. And here is at church, we had a dedication of the members, and that was really awesome. Here's the potluck that they had, and everybody eats on bamboo leaves, which is kind of cool. There's just this giant pot of rice. And then we went to AY and the baptism, and everybody was singing. We had this thing where you could come up and you could sing a song for everybody, and that was really fun. I even got to go up and do that. And here is Rufus, who I talked about last week, our missionary dog. He still goes to church every week. And then here is the baptisms. There's 51 people who decided to be baptized, including one of our students decided that he was going to be rebaptized. So that was really crazy. I've never been to a baptism like that. It was amazing. And then seeing people that I was with all week, and they decided that they wanted to do this because they saw God working with us, and they wanted to be part of that too. And that's what really made everything worth it. Here is one of Hilaire Brando. Last year he was working on a boat and he slipped and he hit his back on the side of the Banca boat, which has these rails on the side. And he thought he was okay, but he had this weird feeling in his back. And then a couple months later, it got so bad that he can't walk anymore because he's paralyzed now. But he decided that he wanted to be baptized. So they carried him out in his chair and baptized him and his mother. And it'd be really great if you could keep him in your prayers because we're trying to make it so that we can get him to a doctor and see if he can walk again someday. Because his mother is a widow and she only has him and his younger sister, and they have no way to provide for themselves, so they eat snails that they can find. Here is one of the Anka boats. This was really crazy. On one of our last days, we decided to go on the other side of the island, but to get there, we had to take the Anka boat. But we had about 10 too many people on there, so on the way back, we decided to hire another one so that we could not be so slow. But then we got caught up in a storm. We had sent most of the guys on the boat, on that boat because it was smaller, and then the storm came up. I guess there it's normal, it's not a big deal, but for us, we were going to die because the waves just got huge and we were so sick, and the sky got all dark, and then we couldn't see them anymore, and we couldn't contact them. We were really scared that their little boat, which was not very nice, it was barely enough to float on the water, had tipped over, and we were like, oh, that's really not good. So we were praying. We saw them at the end. They were behind us where we couldn't see them. But it really brought our team closer together because we were all praying and singing that the storm would calm down. And we made it there safely. We had a couple of times where the boat didn't feel right, but we made it. Another neat thing is that this lady she's a CEO for one of the top athletic brands. I can't remember if it's Adidas or Nike or whatever. But her and her fiance, I guess, she's from Portugal. They came over and they're touring the islands for a long break. And we met them and we were like, hey, you guys want to come out with us and go visit the islands and stuff? So they did. And we got to witness to a Portuguese lady and a Spanish guy. They're completely on the other side of the world in the randomest place ever. And they got witnessed to by a bunch of students from a little academy we lived near there. And that was really cool. And here is a really beautiful picture of Rome. The little bay there, I can't remember the name, but it's a really cool lake. And we took our kitchen crew and all the people who helped us out for the day. So we were met with a couple, I guess not emergencies, but they were not things that kind of a bit crazy. I think it was the last day. We all had a free day that we could go out with the kids and we could just say our goodbyes and stuff. And this guy, Eric, was playing volleyball with kids on the basketball court. He was just wearing his sandals because that's what everybody wears. And he stepped on a piece of broken glass and it went through his sandal and through his foot. And it was like really, really deep. It was enough to get stitches, but we're in the middle of nowhere and there's no hospitals. So we had to do the best we could with our nurse, Mrs. Crownover. And then that happened again later that day with another person, and they cut open the side of their foot too. So then we said that no, we could play volleyball because it's too dangerous. We're running out of bandages. And here's a picture of us in the jeepney as we're getting ready to go back to the airport. And I was kind of jealous because they don't let girls ride on top of the jeepneys because it's not safe. And someone had to ride up there to keep the luggage the staff did. Here's a pastor here. He's 23, but he has 18 churches. He gets to spend maybe half a week, 3 times a year with each church. But there, the pastors they're not like pastors here. They don't just like sit in church and figure everything out. They teach the people there to be the leaders in their church. And then they go and make more churches. And here's the head elder, Bong, and his wife, Sol. Bong is like the craziest person ever. He's like my uncle that I never had here. And so for youth night, we were playing this game, and I don't know what it was, but I'm not very good at games, you guys know. So I had to go get the penalty, which is to do this embarrassing thing in front of everybody. Mom took my place and did this for me, and I was, oh, you are my best friend, my uncle, thank you so much. He was really nice. After the baptism, some of the teenagers that got baptized, their parents brought them back that night, who were gone, and they shoved them at and told them that they were his kids now because they had specifically told them not to get baptized. It's a very Catholic place, and by leaving the church, you're done with your family too. There, so he now has several more people to take care of. So we're trying to help him with that. And here's the Bible workers, and they work there in the summer, and they don't have enough money to go to college, so Thunders are helping them go to college now and get their theology training so that they can become pastors. Here's some of us with the group before we left. It was a very tearful goodbye for a lot of us because we really connected with the people. But it's really nice because we still stay in touch and we're still working there. Even though we're gone and not there anymore, we still are trying to help out with the community. Here's the picture of the island as we left. And then here's us in the airport in our layover. It was really rough trying to get back to the time. And then when we got back in Chicago, we opened the door to the plane, and then it was snowing and blizzarding. Palm beaches. Anyways. Here's one of the families who came to our house every night, and then we'd feed them the rice that we had. We'd feed them our food. His name is Waldo, and he was an octopus fisher. But then he learned about the Seventh-day Adventist message and he got baptized, but then he realized that he doesn't have any way to feed his family anymore. So they were pretty much living on nothing. His wife was so skinny, like, wasn't at all okay. And a couple weeks ago, we raised enough money to buy him a boat. So now he goes out and he can fish and provide for his family, and he also helps fish for Brando's family who doesn't have anything to eat. So now 2 families are taken care of, and now they have enough to support their families. Here's one of the little girls we met. Her name is Fermina. She's a really sweet little girl. She was born with a cleft lip, so she can't do a lot of things that other kids can do because she can breathe in stuff and it's not good for her. So I think we almost have enough to send her to Manila to get surgery so that she can be better. Keep her in her prayers too. And here is our mission crew with the kitchen and construction and Bible workers and pastor. That was a really, the people that we met there who changed our lives forever, and the things we did and saw, it made me realize that we have so much here, and we don't even realize how different it is in other places. And these people are happy. They don't have anything. They don't even have enough to feed their families, but they're still happy because they have something to live for. They have God in their lives, and their church family is really a church family. And we felt very welcomed by them, and we're really thankful for everything that we learned about being with them. And our closing song is Side by Side from the He Is Our Songbook. That's a song that we sang during our AY meetings.